Hey, what's up? And welcome back to the library.
Hello, friends. Episode 3.
Here we are. Season 2.
Season 2. I can't believe we're already on episode 3.
Yeah.
Time flies.
When you're having fun.
Yeah. Why are you so close to me? That was
I
weird.
really
like,
just
hello.
want to sit on your lap today.
We do love each other. We are married.
What a guy.
What a lady.
Getting to work with your best friend, as a total side note, is a flex. Okay?
It's nice.
It's so fun.
It's the best of times and the worst of times.
Well, that's rude.
Got him.
What?
Anyway, this is probably the worst open that we've had.
Or is it the best?
Who knows?
Did people laugh?
You decide. All
Choose
right.
your own adventure.
Choose your own adventure. Kind of like last week.
Yep.
All right. So, what are we doing in this podcast,
We're going to
babe?
dive right in. Hospitality tip.
And
then a recipe.
And
then today, we're going to talk about how to grow your rental property without spending money on ads.
nice.
Woo!
Let's go. So the first thing,
Yeah. We're going to talk about actually staying in the rooms that you offer. Joel and I have been on a quest,
yes,
a side quest.
not a main quest, a side quest.
It's not a main quest, but it's a side quest to stay in our rooms here at the inn. The bummer is you do have to clean them afterwards, but
That's fine.
I feel like that's a small price to pay for the things that we have learned about some of the places in this house
Yes.
that needed attention, but like maybe we didn't notice as we were cleaning, or a guest didn't bother to tell us that something was broken because they probably didn't want to. Who wants to tell somebody that their
Right.
room is like
You don't want to
broken?
get charged extra. You
Right.
don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah, it's weird.
No one wants that.
No. So, yeah. So, like in our Tuscany room, we have recently discovered that the fireplace, like you have to actually hold the button down in order to turn it on. We noticed that.
Yeah.
We also noticed that the fan is not balanced, so it makes an annoying clicking noise every time it goes around. So Joel's working on fixing that.
Yep. It just helps you learn what's broken.
It does.
You know?
Or like like when you run the water in the sink, like, yeah, we clean pretty intensely every time somebody leaves, but at the same time, like you're not running water to see like how long it takes for the sink to fill up with like, hair down the drain.
Yeah.
And I mean, we try to keep up on these things regularly. We have like a maintenance checklist that we uphold, but sometimes you just don't know what you don't know.
Until you actually go through the process.
Exactly.
So the more you do the stuff that people do, the more you figure out what's good and what's not good.
Exactly. And so even if you don't own a bed and breakfast or a short-term rental, but like you have family or friends that come to visit you pretty often, maybe just go spend the night in your guest room one night just for fun and see what like is helpful, what's not helpful. What are things that you would enjoy in that room if you were staying with you,
Even the layout, I feel like.
Yeah. Lighting, where the lamps are.
Yeah. Or like, oh, I would love the nightstand if it was this over here, or, like coffee table over here rather than here kind of thing.
Right. Exactly.
It's just helpful.
Yeah. Layout, all the things. I think that's super helpful. So yeah, if you own a B&B, highly suggest staying in your room so you actually know what to experience. Fun fact, Joel and I have never stayed at a bed and breakfast until Italy in November. And that was technically an agriturismo and had different vibes than I think a traditional bed and
You
breakfast.
ruined it. You weren't supposed to tell them that.
Well, we've stayed at ours.
Sometimes the secret's supposed to be a secret, Dave. Okay?
It's not a secret.
Now they all know. You ruined it.
It's fine. I've said that many times.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Most people that stayed here actually knew that.
Yeah.
If they ask
True. If they ask
about,
us.
like, how we got here.
Yeah. Bet we kind of fell into this.
Yeah.
Happy we did.
I mean, we've stayed at a lot of Airbnbs.
Yes.
A lot of short-term rentals, as you
Yes.
call them.
They are. Well, I lump them because
Yes.
honestly, it could be like a boutique hotel, like motels. It could be
Inns.
It could be bed and breakfast. It could be Airbnb. It could be Vrbo. It could be an Expedia listing. You just don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, yeah.
So
stay in your rooms.
Stay in your rooms. I think another thing too is like knowing if the bed's comfy or not.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Because like you don't really know until you're like on the bed trying to sleep. And
like the squeakiness of garden.
Yeah.
We did not realize. So that is like every movement you make on that bed.
Every move you make.
I'll be squeaking.
You get a little awkward.
Okay, I wasn't even thinking about that.
We're just going to leave it at that.
I was just thinking like when you roll over,
yep,
the whole hallway can hear it.
Yes, rolling over.
And I also heard that, well, we had friends come and stay in that room too, and she was like, oh my gosh, that bed is way too soft. Like way too soft. Yeah. So I think finding a middle ground for that room is probably on our to-do list in the next little bit, because it's such a cute room, but I don't think people don't actually leave garden going, that was the best sleep of my life.
Yeah.
You know, but they do in like Tuscany and Mackinac. We've heard good things. Brighton, surprisingly, is like a really good bed. And Eastlake, I've heard really good things about Eastlake. Yeah. But that's the hard part with mattresses. Everybody's preference is so different. We did have one guy leave us a recommendation to go get a mattress at this company that he works for. I feel like it was a shameless plug and had less to do with the mattress, but
yeah, don't go around. If you're a mattress salesman, just don't go around and be like, your mattress sucks. Here, let me
buy one from me.
It's like,
yeah, he was just trying to be nice. It's okay.
I don't know. For those who can't see the video, I was shaking my head there for a second. Shameless plugs.
Yeah.
Bless his heart,
I know,
as the South would say.
Bless his heart. But yeah, anyway stay in your rooms.
Yes, stay in your room.
Yeah, and just figure out what works and what doesn't. It'll be helpful for your guests in the long run.
Yes. All right. Recipe.
Yeah, recipe today is a gluten-free pistachio shortbread cookie that is dipped in white chocolate.
Ooh.
And that combination lately has just been my vibe. Pistachios and white chocolate. As we speak right now, Maya is currently baking a pistachio white chocolate cake. And the last time she made this cake, it was gluten-free, okay?
Awesome.
Maybe the best cake I've ever put in my mouth.
Maybe we should have her on the podcast for one of these.
Share that recipe.
Share the recipe.
We didn't come up with it though, so it's somebody else's recipe. We can give them credit, but
yeah, we can definitely give them credit. Why not?
It was so good. She did such a good job for a 13-year-old.
Yeah. Let's not spoil it.
It was so good. But anyway, this cookie recipe is delicious. It's a really easy recipe. I use, again, King Arthur gluten-free flour blend is my jam. And these cookies were, they were pretty delicious. And I put them out for guests. They were gone pretty quickly. So I think people liked them. But enjoy.
I like them.
Enjoy the recipe. It's in the show notes. And if you try them, let me know what you think.
They have nuts in them.
They have pistachios in them.
So it's healthy.
And they're gluten-free.
It's protein.
Salad. It's a salad.
Salad, guys. Yes. All right.
Yeah. All right.
So what do we got?
So we're talking about how to market your short-term rental today without using ads.
What?
Yeah.
You don't have to pay for ads?
You don't.
Are you saying there's a lot of free resources out there?
Yeah.
To market yourself?
It's wild.
We are not pros in this.
No, we're still learning.
We are learning
for sure.
a lot.
But we're just going to tell you what's worked for us.
And we've had some success.
We have. Definitely.
So another secret, let the cat out of the bag because you're into letting secrets out this episode.
I like cats.
No, you don't.
I hate cats.
Yeah. We are dog people.
We're
Have
dog
you seen
people.
Willow? She's the best. Anyway, we've never paid for an ad.
We haven't.
And we grew our social media.
Okay, we actually, when you said that, I was like, yeah, we haven't paid for an ad. We did pay for an ad.
We did?
But technically it was a print ad. Does that count?
We've never paid for social media ads.
Paolo here in town for the...
the print ad.
The magazine we were part of that one time.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that again this year, for the record.
We should probably take that out of the podcast. Just in case. You never know who's listening, you know? Anyway, dude, you're in rare form today.
Why is that bad?
I love you a lot.
We'll find it and cut it.
No, I'm definitely leaving that in. Just so you know. Okay, so we've never paid for social media ads.
We've never paid for a social media ad, no.
How have we been able to grow a following without paying for social media ads? Tell us.
One thing I think is helpful is your communication with your guests after they leave. So a lot of times, I mean, we have a lot of templates that we use. So guests get a slew of text messages the day that they leave, but then they also get like a thanks for staying with us email after a couple days after they've stayed with us. You know, hope you're adjusting back to regular life, you know, well, be sure to follow us on social media and then sign up for our email list for, you know, just like upcoming events that we're having at the inn or different promotions, discounts, that kind of thing. And so they get that after they leave. And then I feel like that has been really helpful, and having little QR codes around the inn of where to follow us on Instagram, like our brochures have them, and like our pamphlets, or we had those little in-room, there's an in-room binder that we've created. It's called our trail guide. Basically that has it in there too, to follow us on social media. And so there's been a lot of that with guests who come and stay and then follow us while they're here, or follow us, you know, after they get home or whatever, or they find us on Instagram first and then come see us. We have a lot of that now that the innkeeper couple has grown.
Yes.
Because we've grown to almost 21,000 in 6-ish months. So it's been really fast growth for us, but really we've just been utilizing reels and carousels. Those have been really helpful for us. And what we're noticing is that storytelling is coming back, which I'm so excited about, because for a while it was just like, like that. I don't know if you guys remember that trend that happened like maybe a year ago. It was that blinking noise, and it was like a 1-second video, and it was just videos of you blinking, but people would watch it like 13 times, and then the algorithm was like,
that was a thing.
Yeah, that was a thing. Wow. So then it was like, I don't know, and then there'd be like a caption on the video or whatever, but I don't know. I'm glad we're getting away from that, and people are actually interested in like content and storytelling. And I want to just like sit here in storytelling for a minute, because I feel like it's critical. Gone are the days of like posting a picture of yourself at your short-term rental, you know, with your dog. Like I don't know, like people don't care about posts anymore. And what they want is like the history of your bed and breakfast, or the history of the area, or what is some cool thing that you experienced, or what does a day in your life look like as somebody who owns a short-term rental, or things like that. Because I think being an innkeeper is an odd job. And to be honest, there aren't very many of us out there. Like, I mean, there are probably a lot of Airbnb hosts out there, but Airbnb hosts are a lot different from innkeepers who live on property, who are up at dawn making their guests breakfast. There's a big difference between running an Airbnb and a bed and breakfast. In a lot of ways, I think we've chosen the harder route as innkeepers. And I don't say that to slam Airbnb hosts, because honestly, we're trying to be more like you. But at the same time,
it's just way different.
It's just different. It's a different hard.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like Airbnbs aren't hard in their own respect, but it's just a different hard. And so I think, all that to say, I think people are really interested in life as an innkeeper and what that looks like. If you're a homesteader and you're looking to like start a B&B in your house, even if it's just 2 or 3 rooms, like we talked about in the last episode, they want to know, like, what do you do on your little hobby farm? Like, what does your life look like? Right. Romanticize it. Make me care. Yeah. Because we live in the age of Hallmark movies.
Well, and people are looking for a connection.
They are, totally.
And stories drive that connection with other people.
Right.
It builds that, like, commonality. I think we've lost the art of, like, common experiences. Mm-hmm. You know, I think we've become so individualistic. So I think stories, like you were mentioning the history, it's like that common experience that we are all in this thing together.
Right.
And I think that's why storytelling does so well.
Totally. And when you invite people into that,
right,
it is a connection.
Right.
And then they feel like they know something about you. So then when they come and stay with you, they will reference those videos. And I know this because it's happened.
Yes.
Sometimes I put things on the internet and we're always just like, okay, cool. Like, we'll see how this does, because right now we're in a season of throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. Like, I'm not going to pretend like we're social media experts, but at this point in my life, I do feel confident on social media. Like, these are things that we've learned. There are classes I've taken. I mean, like, I have a journalism background and I took classes in college on marketing and as part of that and stuff like that and public relations. And I don't know. It's just always funny to me. Like, I don't know.
Well, and I think something that's funny, and I don't know if you've experienced this, where I've had a guest talk to me about something that I think we either talked about in a podcast or you shared it in a reel. And I don't even remember this, but people like refer to stuff and maybe my memory's bad. Maybe it's because we have a lot going on, but like one, just forgive me if I don't remember what you're talking about or what I said. And two, it's just, I don't know. I think people just remember stuff really well. You never know what someone's going to remember.
They do.
And I probably won't even remember. I probably won't even remember this podcast, what I'm saying. So just bear with us. But
yeah, I do. Yeah.
I think what I'm trying to say though is that like people are looking for like some kind of experience or that connection.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I think the more you share about those things that make you unique as a short-term property, those are the things that are going to get people to stay.
Yeah.
Those are the lifelong guests that are going to come. And
it sets you apart from other places.
Right.
Because all places have some kind of history.
Yeah,
but if you can
exactly.
make people feel like they're part of something, then they'll come back.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's different about a bed and breakfast than Airbnb. Not to shame the Airbnbers, but often, and I feel like this isn't always the case, but often I feel like places that are more Airbnbs, if they don't have some kind of history about it, it's just like a random house.
Yeah, right.
But we stayed in like a old 15th century governor's place in Scotland. And I'm like, I remember this place and I remember the story behind it because there was history there.
Totally.
And I feel like our place has history. And that doesn't mean that Airbnbs can't have history. It just
No, and if you are like an Airbnb host, a lot of times I know that there's a lot of work that goes into decorating that house and stuff like that. So like capitalize on that. If that's part of your story, like you took a dilapidated house and you turned it into something really cool where people could stay and it's more architecture focused, like amazing. Lean in.
Or if it's like a cabin, like we stayed at that place and I think it was like a family cabin or something, but we knew nothing about the house. But it could have been like a paper write-up about, oh, we've owned this cabin for the last 30 years and our grandparents built it and now we have this. Like, it doesn't have to be these like crazy stories either. It could just be like, hey, this was a family home for 20-some years and we purchased it. We remodeled it and share some of the remodeling experience that you had and show it off. Have fun with it.
Anything can be part of your story. I think that's what we're trying to get at too. It's like nothing is too small to share. I know it can sometimes feel silly to do like the before and after videos, but like don't skimp on the before videos because the before videos, you can't have the after videos without the before videos. And that's, that's not just home decor and remodeling. That's anything. Like, what was life like before you became an Airbnb host? What is it like now? What was life like before you were an innkeeper? What is it like now? I don't know. I just feel like there are so many different ways to share your story that connects with people and gives them a reason to come and support you because you are this business. I mean, as much as we want to pretend like, okay, yeah, we don't know the Airbnb hosts or, oh yeah, the innkeepers, they kind of keep to themselves. Like that's fine. But also people are coming for you. If they've never stayed at a bed and breakfast before, they're probably not going to go to a bed and breakfast that seems super uninviting.
Right.
And if you're online being like, hey, welcome to our space and this is what we offer and here are our amenities and, this is what I love about our property and this is what I love about our town and, all of these things, they're going to be like, wow, I love those things too. Like maybe I should go check them out. So I think the more that you share the story of your location, of your bed and breakfast, of, whatever short-term rental you have, I think it's just helpful.
Right.
Storytelling has been huge for us. Another thing that I will say is that cultivating an email list is something we're trying to get better at. We're actually in the middle of a class right now on email marketing to just kind of lean into that a little bit more for discounts and giving people a little bit more information about like what to do once they actually get up here.
Right.
So that is exciting, but also 70%, at least 70% of women plan their vacations on Pinterest. And so one of the things that I haven't done it a lot lately, but we do have a Park Street Inn Pinterest page where I post photos of the inn and our different rooms and stuff. And those are the ones that get the most views. I feel like Pinterest is a really cool place for Airbnbs to be, and bed and breakfasts and short-term rentals, because people are, when they Google, Pinterest is a search engine, right? It's not social media. It can be used as social media, but first and foremost, you're typing things into the search, right? You want to see what, like for recipes, I'm going to go on Pinterest and I'm going to search French toast. You know what I mean? Like if you are going to Banff, you're going to search, where to stay in the Canadian Rockies, where to stay in Canmore. And then what's going to come up? A bunch of places to stay in Canmore. And so if you are using the right keywords that have to do with your location, so you're, like for us, that's Bel Air, Chain of Lakes, Torch Lake, Lake Michigan, Northern Michigan, Michigan on a broader scale, United States. That way, every single time somebody searches that, all of these pictures of our bed and breakfast will come up. And so 10 out of 10 would recommend utilizing Pinterest, especially for the females out there who are apparently planning all of their year-long vacation trips around what they see on Pinterest. So
let's be real. How many guys are planning the vacations?
I don't know.
You said 70% of women?
Yeah, but that could be just like, that's just a study of women.
Maybe I should research. And next episode, we can talk about the percentage of dudes out there
planning their trips on Pinterest.
Yes. Maybe there's a lot. I don't know. I'm not on Pinterest, so I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm in the dark on this one.
I don't know. I know the demographics are definitely higher with women on Pinterest than men. But
it's
regardless,
a good tool.
She's sharing it with her husband, I'm sure.
Yeah.
How many times do I send you pins?
Do I look at them?
I text them to you.
Can I look at them without Pinterest, though?
Yeah, you have in the past.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Remember when we were talking about earlier in this episode how I forget things? This is one of those things where I forget.
It's okay. Anyway, so yeah, Pinterest is huge for photo-based advertising that is free. And then on top of that, you're using the same search engine optimization, that you are for Google on Pinterest, because they're both search engines. So make sure that you find the keywords that make sense for your area. In order to do that, you can actually go into Pinterest, and as you're creating the pin, you can look at how many people have used certain keywords on Pinterest. That's super helpful. And then on social media, storytelling. Just be willing to share your story. I think that's huge. We did release a course on all of this and how we market our bed and breakfast. A lot of times too, like print publications and press, if there is a local magazine, getting your name out there in certain things is really helpful. And sometimes you don't have to pay to do this. So like for us, one of the major things in Northern Michigan is called Red Hot Best. And it takes each region of Northern Michigan, kind of breaks it down. And then basically people vote for like their best restaurant in the area, or the best hotel to stay at, or the best car mechanic, or there's like a category for everything now. And I think it started in Traverse technically, but now there's like an Antrim County, and now there's a Chain of Lakes region. And so, that is a really easy way. Look at your local newspaper and just see what they're doing in that respect. Is there any voting system? Because the more you can get your name out there on things like that, it's still free. Or, I mean, Record Eagle came in. That's our newspaper in Traverse City. They do yearly publication in the fall about influential women in the area. And I was nominated, which was crazy. But we got in the Record Eagle and I was able to share about what we do at the Park Street Inn and all this other stuff. And the connections that came from that ended up being really cool. And so, and then that led to a radio station reaching out to us and stuff like that. So you never know what those free opportunities are going to bring you. And I 10 out of 10 would recommend just trying it out. Like, see what kind of voting pools or whatever is going on in your local newspaper and just see, is this something that we could be voted into? Like, could we be Red Hot Best? We were Red Hot Best a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Last year was our first year here and we had no idea when voting started. So that was fun.
Yeah.
But this year we know.
Yes.
We'll be on
But I think what you're trying to say is if you network yourself, and if you get yourself out there, that's a way of marketing.
Yep.
Like,
for sure.
Don't be afraid to reach out to people. Don't be afraid to post it in Facebook groups or
exactly.
Don't be afraid to share it online. Like, try.
Yep.
And
then the last one that I would say also has to do with social media is utilizing influencers. I know that this has kind of a weird connotation around it and people get really sketchy with this kind of thing. But one of the things that we did when we first got here was look for the micro influencers who don't have necessarily more than 25,000 followers, and then invited them to the inn for a free night with plated breakfast and just asked them to create a reel for us and to tag us and then maybe do a couple stories while they're here. And that was really successful for
it was great.
us. And I mean, some of them only had a couple, or a few thousand followers. But the connections with them have been so fun and they reshare our stuff all the time and we've built relationships with them. And as they grow, we grow. And so, don't underestimate the power of utilizing social media with people in your area who are travel influencers. They're willing to come and check out your short-term rental or your B&B and, just share about it. And most of the time you are only out one night. And I mean, we did it in the winter time. So it was I don't know that we would have booked it anyway. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not like we're doing this at our busiest time of year, but in the winter we had one lined up January, February, March, April last year.
Yeah, it was great.
And it was so fun to host them and just be able to give them a really great experience. And then in turn, have that turn into, I think we gained about 1,000 followers from that. And these were just micro influencers. So if you are willing to put a little money behind it, you could end up getting influencers that are, on a larger scale or have over 100,000 followers and stuff like that, which would grow your page significantly. I have a friend who is an influencer content creator on social media. She has, I think, over 150,000 now. But I mean, just from her posting about a place, they, received a bunch of reservations. And so she deserves to be compensated for that. Right. And so, you just have to find the right partnerships for you, but it's so worth it if you do find people who are passionate about what you're doing, want to come stay for free for a night and then share about their experience online. I mean, that gives you social proof. Social proof is amazing. Those are the testimonials that are going to come from people who are not you, which is even more important than the stuff that comes out of your mouth is the stuff that comes out of everybody else's mouth. And so if you can really garner reviews in that way and get that social proof,
yes,
dang. So influencers, highly recommend reels and carousels with storytelling on Instagram and Facebook. Be done with the little posts of what you had for lunch today. That is not what, maybe on your personal, that's totally fine. But on your business,
you do whatever you want on your personal.
On your business page, one recommendation I have is to go on to different pages that are not in your industry. So maybe the food industry or health and wellness or something like that. Find a different industry and see what their top Instagram posts are, look like. What are they posting about?
Yeah.
And then if you can mimic that in your own industry so that not all bed and breakfasts are coming up with the same dang content and then it just becomes noise. Try something new. just step out of the box. But it's okay to use other people as inspiration. Just don't copy them. So,
yes. And the last thing, if I can add in something, is to have people do reviews online.
Yes.
So like
totally.
Google, Yelp, anything that has a review, because that way it helps those search engines will push you more if you have reviews in your database on your page or whatnot. So
absolutely,
it's just helpful.
So hopefully that was helpful. But again, we did create an entire course on how to run a successful, profitable bed and breakfast. Super excited about this. We have a bunch of people who have already joined us in the course, which is so fun. So if you are hoping to start your own bed and breakfast, whether in your house or you're, looking into rent to own situations, or you just want to be like, a short-term rental where you're doing Airbnb or Vrbo, the course is designed for all short-term rentals. So if you need a little extra help and a little boost in creating that revenue, I hope you'll check it out.
Yes.
We've put our heart and soul and every single thing that we know about running a B&B into this course, including all of our email templates that we send out to everybody. We did an entire marketing module that goes more in depth into everything that we've already talked about here. Gives you some worksheets to figure out what your niche is, what your content pillars will be on social media. And then it's also got like all of our text communications and our policies and procedures.
Pretty much all
and
the back end stuff.
all of it. So hopefully it's a real plug and play situation for you to skip the mistake making like we went through and start at the successful, profitable part. So anyway, we'll link that below. And if you'd like to join us in that, feel free. Also, feel free to sign up for our newsletter as well, where we'll discuss more hospitality tips and I'll share more recipes and
all that will be in the show notes.
All of it's there. And make those pistachio shortbread cookies.
Yes.
Let us know what you think.
They're fantastic. So thank you so much for listening with us. If you could give us a review, that would be very helpful.
Speaking of reviews.
Yes. More reviews. The world is based on reviews. Okay. So that would be awesome. And thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.